What a beautiful morning. It's probably late morning already. I have been out here having coffee and I think an hour got past me, which is good. I got a lot done. Look at the mess I've got here, but I'm so excited. Let's see what I'm doing because it might give you ideas too. Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California, and they're predicting rain coming this week. And I thought I'll come out here, have some coffee, and sit and think. It doesn't work that way. I immediately started walking through and thinking, oh my goodness, I need to do this, I'm gonna do that. So the first thing I did was I redid the peppers here. Now you've seen this is doing fantastic. I'm so excited. I actually put this cute little, this is a cottage cheese or yogurt container, painted it up, and now it's got a couple walking onions in there. So it's layering. It's keeping this pepper well watered, and I put the other pot back there I had. So I can water the pots. There's holes on the bottom of this. It goes into the bucket here. This is the first one I planted. And now it will keep this pepper that I should have removed all the peppers off of when I moved it because it looked like it was not going to make it. It was drooping. It looked terrible, but I wanted to keep the peppers on. And now look at that, they're turning red. They probably won't grow much bigger because they did get stunted when I moved them, but that's okay. Now I've got new peppers. See, the new peppers are already starting to grow. Look how big they are. Much different. So I layered that. Then I came through here and I made that yellow bucket, and I'll show you exactly what I did. Same thing like I do for all the totes, any container. It's basically whatever I've got. If I had coffee grinds, I would have dumped that in there. I didn't even have kitchen scraps, but yes, I did. I put in collard leaves. I put in leaves from the garden. Collard, well, that would have been in the kitchen, trimmed up. Trimmings would have gone into the bucket and out into the garden. But as you can see, all I had to do was go around my own garden, collect some collard leaves, and dyeing off squash leaves, zucchini leaves, anything, even onion leaves, put it all in there with some shredded paper, top it up with, that's not potting soil, just anything from the ground, from other totes, dumped it in there, and now that's ready to go. I think I'm gonna put garlic in there, not 100% sure yet. Then I came over here and I found my zinnias that I had planted in this purple, you know, it's just a pot from the nursery. They just had them purple, and my zinnias are growing pretty good, but I want to move them. When I had the zinnias sitting in here, you'll see, I was shocked. I lifted it up and the whole bottom of this pot, now remember, everything has to have drainage. It doesn't matter what it is. Occasionally I do garlic and different things without, but that's different. But in the garden, everything's got to drain. Because that drained well and it had some leaves on the bottom, it congregated tons of earthworms. The whole bottom was full of earthworms. So instead of moving them and getting them, well, upset, because I want the earthworms, they found their way in here. I had to switch phones. My camera died, my battery died. Anyways, as I was saying, instead of completely disturbing them and moving them, what I did was I left this pot, which has holes, and I took another floral pot. There are holes in here, loaded it up just like I did the other bucket with all kinds of stuff, and now I can grow in here. Probably I'm going to put garlic since I started a package of garlic I got, organic, and I've got tons of it. So I can have garlic here, and I love garlic because I don't have to wait to eat garlic in the spring when the bulb gets bigger. I use it. You'll see how I do it. I've got a whole video on that where we eat the greens. It's wonderful. So now I've got my zinnias that I should separate since there's so many, but we'll see what happens there. And now I've got the earthworms happy here. But there's just nothing nicer than stepping out in the garden and be able, you know, coming out here and just thinking, well, look at this. I've got all this stuff here. I'm going to get some stuff done today. Isn't this cool? This is probably one of my favorite gardens, though I do like the bird garden. This is someplace I can come sit. It's colorful, it's pretty, and it's easy to work here. And I've got all my cuttings I do here and everything. So I thought I would just share that. Make sure when you're moving things around the garden, look and see if you've got earthworms, and if you're ready to plant, then go ahead and you can move those earthworms where you need them, but they're going to be under all kinds of things here. And they're going to be under buckets and, you know, different things, and you never know where you're going to find them. I didn't even think that behind this little okra growing in that container was going to be full of earthworms. They gravitated into the painted pot I did because it was probably either too wet or there was food there. And they like going up out of the wet. Remember, if your soil gets really wet, They still need oxygen. Oxygen is important in soil. Your microbes, everything needs oxygen, so they'll move up, and then as it dries a little bit to where they're comfortable, they will go back in. So that's another way of catching them. Think about that. When it's raining, you can put some flower pots around with big holes underneath with some good fluffy soil in there or leaves, and they will go into those pots and you can catch them that way. This is my water fountain you're probably hearing. I'm going to redo that one day soon too, but this is cement. I made that. Isn't that beautiful with the leaf pattern? We're going to have to all do that. It was like nothing to do. It was so easy. So I thought I would just share that with you. Just coming out here. I never planned on doing anything. I do a lot of my stuff that way. You know, I do videos that way. I come out here and I have no plan on what video I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. Somebody might be interested. And I just turn on my camera and go for it. And that's the way I do my gardening. I come out here with Gary this morning. There's my coffee cup, dragged all my buckets out with my tools. And I told Gary I'm just having coffee here and I'm going to go in the house. And then I wasn't going in the house. So he said, well, I'm going to go get work done. And I immediately started working. So I've got my stool out here. Oh, I'll tell you something. If you want to sit and garden, go find yourself a little stool. I love those. It's a simple little plastic stool, but here's what I like about it. It's lightweight, and let me show you the legs because this is important. See how the legs are squared off? Very similar to all the chairs that are in my chair garden. The reason they're designed that way is because that will sit on soil. Because of the square, you're not sending a little point in. If you had something, let's see, let's walk over here and I'll show you what I mean. See these card chairs? See how it's just round? It's a tube. That will sink into soil. But when you have patio chairs, they're squared off so they don't sink. So I looked around, I found this. I actually found it at a little convenience store and they don't have anymore, but you can find them somewhere. And if you see a little stool at the thrift store and you see this, you know that's going to be a nice little stool that you can have outside. You can carry it with one finger so you can move anywhere in your yard with it. And I'll tell you what else I like about it. That doubles as a table. So I can sit on one and have my coffee, water, anything I want on the other, and it's fantastic and easy to stack away. So, and I can't tell you where to get them because, like I said, I got it at a convenience store and they said they didn't have any more. It was a closeout. I paid $6, but you can find them at the thrift store. So be sure to check the leg out when you're looking for something you want to just carry around the garden to do some work. That leg will make a big difference. A pipe type leg, like a kitchen chair or something, won't work because it will act like a nail going into wood. It will just slowly sink. You'll be sitting there and sinking into the soil, and it won't sink evenly. One leg will go better than the other, and then you'll be sitting there cockeyed and eventually sinking into the soil. These don't sink. That's why none of these have sunk in. See, because they're stable, having that half a box square looking leg. That's designed for patio, outdoor soil, maybe not beach sand, but outdoor soil works perfect. And of course, cement. They'll sit perfect on cement. So I hope I gave you some ideas and little tips. And if you want a stool, boy, you want something light. Don't get something heavy, something you can carry. And the other thing I like with a stool is I can swing around on that. And if you had a chair with a back, you can't. Then you're working, going back and forth like that. I'm going to make you all dizzy. But when you've got a stool with the perfect legs like that, you can swing your body around and turn and twist, and you're not having anything obstructing you to do that movement with your arms. So I hope you enjoyed this. And let's see what I end up doing with that, because I've got one here. I cleaned that one up to plant something, and then I've got one there, and I've got one more bucket there. And keep in mind, everything's got drainage, but we'll see. I'm going to decide what I want to plant. And if I do decide to go with seeds, remember I make these hoods out of the tote lids. These are fantastic. I could put lettuce in one of these and cover it, and no insects, no nothing will get in there. So we'll see if I go with the garlic. So far, nothing really bothers the garlics, but if I wanted to put something lower, I can put my hood on there, and then it will be free from pests of all kinds. If you want to make these, you know I've got videos on how I make these. And I made that, boy, what, 7 months ago or something, and it's still going strong. I've got some from a year ago. With that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. Well, hopefully we'll have tomatoes all winter, at least a few.